Everyone.
Yeah. Hey everybody. Hi, how you doing?
Hello.
Hi,
We are live here at 11th hour Kenya today and we want to welcome you to Thankful Thursday. Um we are so excited. I don't even know what to say about our friend Winnie Ndiga being here today, the founder of Feed a Street Child. We have been working together for like the past year.
Yeah.
Um, Identify children that can be taken off the streets, taken back home. Why does my head look so big? Like, whoa. But we're identifying street kids that can be taken back to their homes, that want to go back to school, things like that. And we're here today to tell you a little bit about that and what we do and who Feed a Street Child is, because a lot of people ask me, well, what is this Feed a Street Child thing? But first, we want to say, like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and just click the little bell so that you can get alerts when we post new content. So, um, I want you to join us each time when we go live, just because I want to see people and I want to see people like engaging us and asking us questions, because what we do is so important for the street kids. And Elvis, did you have anything that you wanted to say before Winnie talks?
No, Kenny can talk today when it's our guest.
She has amazing stuff to say, and
Yeah.
just our work together,
Yeah.
and we want to touch on the plight of the street child and why do we do what we do. You know, why did you start Feed a Street Child, and what is a street child, and where do they come from? Why do they keep coming back to the streets? Where do they stay? Who takes care of them? All of those things we kind of want to touch on today for you, so that you get a sense and you can feel our hearts and the ministries that we have, but you can also feel what it's like to be a street child and know and understand what they go through on a daily basis. So we're going to turn it over to you, Winnie, and we're super excited. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Winnie Ndiga, and the founder of Feed a Street Child. We started Feed a Street Child in 2020, where we wanted to provide the most basic need for the child who is in the street, and the most basic was food. So we started with giving them food and creating the relationship with them, because over food you become friendly and you get to understand why is this child in the street. So that was our beginning, and I'm very excited that we are here and we are working together to eradicate streetism in Bungoma.
Why do you think it's so important to have a relationship or friendship with a street child?
So basically, it's very difficult to interact with people. When you're in town, you can only say hi to someone, but you cannot really open up what you're going through.
Yeah.
But creating that relationship, it makes one feel very comfortable to tell you what they are going through. Not only the street children, even friends. We have so many friends in our daily lives, but it's very difficult for you to open up to your close friend if you don't have that kind of relationship. So relationship identification is one of the it's one of the key reasons why we do what we do.
Yeah, and I think that that's important too. And I think you had such an amazing moment in our leadership meeting that we had the other day with some government people. You said exactly what you said there. We have friends. When our friends come to our homes, we offer them something to drink. We offer them some sort of snack or a meal or something. When we have people over after church on Sundays, we need to feed them, yeah?
Yeah.
And so it's important. That's where you talk and you get to know each other and you find out, where are you from, Winnie? Where,
True.
what do you do for a living? How many kids do you have? Are you married?
Yeah, it's always
So-
over a meal.
Yeah. So a meal is very important. But is Feed a Street Child just about the food?
So once we sorry once we give them the food, So feeding, it's not all about giving them food. We feed them education, we feed them with love, we feed them with understanding. So it's not about food. When we say feeding, it's not all about food. So the moment that child gets a plate of meal, not once, not twice, I will be comfortable to explain to you why you're here.
Yeah.
For us, we can assume, why are you here? Maybe you're a thief. But the moment you become comfortable with the child, you get to understand, okay, so I'm going through this. This is the reason why I came home. Probably extreme poverty is one of the reasons why you don't have food at home. So it's easier to come and beg and eat so that you don't die.
Yeah.
So extreme poverty is one of the reasons why they're in the street. Parental negligence, also alcoholism. If your parent is an alcoholic who does not care, it's one of the reasons why we need to understand the root cause, because when we remove a child from the street, if you don't understand the reason why they come to the street, then you'll be doing a merry-go-round, today out, tomorrow in. So we have, if you're sick and you go to the hospital and they have to treat you malaria, you have to prevent
Correct.
malaria.
Yeah.
Else you'll be going to the hospital.
Yeah.
So Feed a Street Child, it's all about understanding the cycle and trying to prevent. If it's extreme poverty, can we look for ways that we can do? If it's feeding program, like what you do for food drops, can you drop the foods from their homestead if it's that of extreme poverty? If it's empowering the parents so that they are able to independently support the children so that they don't go to the street and beg, because some of them they unwillingly find themselves in the streets, and because of the company that they are in the street with other boys, they get into drug abuse when it was not their intention.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think a lot of times people look at street kids, street people in general as vagrants, people who have no ambition, people who are lazy, people who come from nothing. But you'll be surprised at some of the scenarios that we have come across. Like we brought Imelda home.
Yeah.
There's like a whole family village there that can raise her. She just had an attitude and she needed to find some hope in her life. And so I think touching on extreme poverty, that's, I think, the number one reason why kids are on the street. Number two reason is violence in the home or sexual violence, sexual things in the home that the kids run away from. But a third thing that you wouldn't think of is sometimes the parents have a lack of responsibility and they push their kids to the street to go and beg. A lot of the vendors here, I have found that their kids are on the street while they're working. So it's a matter of responsibility sometimes too. But I also think that organizations like ours need to work together. And I think it's so important because you do things that we don't do, and we do things that you don't do. And when we combine our efforts,
The goal is the same.
The goal is the same, but we're able to better deal with all of the things that come along. School fees, uniforms, supplies, feeding the home. And I think it's important to make sure that the home situation is what we really look at. Because if it is extreme poverty, how can we solve that? It's not our responsibility to solve it, but we can definitely come alongside them. And maybe there's organizations out there that could work with us in helping them. You know, if it's violence in the home, we need like other orphanages or children's homes, rescue centers to come alongside of us, give us their contacts so that we can bring the kid to them. Yeah. So that they're safe. You know, they need a place to be safe. You can't just throw a kid back in their home and just think everything's going to be okay. And I think that's a misconception that a lot of people have. Elvis, what do you think about that? Like, if you're already on the street and it's a violent place at home, how are you as a street child going to want to go back home? That's not going to be what you want to do.
That's something that you don't want to be home if there's violence home. Yeah, that's why most of kids they go to the street because home is hard. Maybe there's no parents. Maybe there is guardians and they are misusing them.
Mm-hmm.
So
What do you mean by misusing them?
misusing them is kind of like they are slave, the slave of their sons. Their sons they can go to school and you can be home and doing everything, making sure there is you go to shamba all the time. Like they use you like you are workers.
So like a houseboy or a house
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
So you're not
And
really treated as a family member then, are you?
no, but that's a blessing too because when they do that, they think that they're doing that for you, but mm, God is watching over you and is protecting you, and the blessing come to you. So instead of doing that, you're not going to school, you're a slave. You decide to go to the street and start begging for people. And mostly when you beg someone, someone doesn't give you because before they they get these people who begs, and at the end of the day they go and count their profit,
Yeah.
and they destroyed the the people, like the rich people use them, so they find out that they cheat that way. So nowadays if you beg someone will not give you even a shillings because they know what is happening. But it's not true. Some of who begs are in needs. They need food, they need clothes, they need love. Even if they beg you and you don't have, instead of saying, care of me, just say, I don't have today. If I have tomorrow, I will give you. And just say, God loves you. Yeah.
Yeah, and according to Matthew 25, that's exactly what Jesus was talking about. It's like if you feed, if you clothe, if you tend to the sick, if you tend to the poor, if you go to the prisons and talk to these people, you're doing it to the least of these, and that means you're doing it to Jesus. Think about that. Like what we're doing is we are doing just like we would do it to Jesus if he was here today to tend to him. So what exactly, like how would you guys describe what we actually do for these kids? What do we do?
Okay, we first when we identify a child who is willingly who willingly wants to go home, we do contact tracing. We go home. We need to identify where the child comes from. What is the situation at home? Is the child safe at home? That is the first step that we do. Then once we identify the reason, if this child, let's say a case of Imelda, she wants to go back to school, she has a family set up who loves her, who accept her. So we need to identify if it's guiding and counseling, can we give to that child? So that at any given time the child will not fall back to the street. We
Right.
support the family from home, we pay the school fees, we provide all the supplies. So now, at no given time, will Imelda feel our home is not safe or where I come from because my mom passed away? I stay with my grandmother, who probably we could have thought she's not receptive. And she was.
Yeah, she
That's
was
also
so happy. I remember that moment. Like it was like a moment of what? Like
yeah.
she was shocked because when we brought Imelda back home, they had already given up and thought that she had been killed or was dead. So when we brought her back home, she had been gone for more than a year, and they were just very happy and just joyful to have her back. They didn't even scold her, which was amazing. And so we knew, the three of us are the ones who took her back, and we knew at that moment this is a safe place and this is a good place for her. And so, we're not counselors, we're not psychologists, we're not social workers, but the experiences that we have and what we bring to the table allow us to really uh, be perceptive and just decide, like, oh, you can feel it the Holy Spirit will move and say, oh, no, no, this is not a good place. Or, hey, this is a good place. So, Feed a Street Child, we basically, when we met,
Mhm.
it was a really fun time, actually. We were doing something for Easter.
Yeah.
And we were planning this event, and Elvis and I were planning an event. And then, how did we actually meet? I don't even remember. Did we come to your food place or something? I don't know what it's like. We just clicked right away. And I
Yeah.
was like, this woman is someone who gets things done. I like her, you know? And then the whole Jesus conversation happened, and we're all believers. So obviously that's awesome too.
Mhm.
But we ended up, or maybe it was through Veronica.
No.
Yeah, no?
It was not through Veronica. It was
Another foodie.
you sent me a message on Facebook.
Oh.
I did something in December
I think I
for
was
Christmas.
trolling you on Facebook.
When we did the feeding of 25th
Yeah,
December,
yeah,
so you
yeah.
asked where was this?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
told
yeah.
you this is Bungoma. Then you ordered food from my place.
Okay, so it's all about creating those moments where
Yeah.
you can connect and everything, and I know you guys handed out those little things in
Yes.
containers and
Yes.
stuff. And I said to Elvis, "Ooh, we need to talk with them because they're kind of doing what we're doing in a way, and we would like go to the airstrip and have an event where we wanted dancing or kind of like not preaching but teaching and talking and like engaging the boys. And then we decided to do it together, and we
Yeah.
had a tug of war, we had a dance contest, we handed out little tracks of how to know Jesus. And then Tony prayed with the boys, we prayed over the kids, then we had a meal together. And then I think there were some kids then that wanted to get off the street,
Yeah.
but we hadn't decided yet how we were actually going to do that. And how do we do that? How, if like Joshua was at our event where we decided, Elvis and I were like, hey, let's give the kids chicken because they don't ever get chicken, right? And that would be a big deal. And we went for Madaraka Day, which is the celebration of Kenya's independence and becoming Kenya independent of Great Britain. Yeah. So 60 years, I believe.
60 years.
It's been 60 years. So it was a great celebration, and we just kept it on a smaller scale, and we catered it from this lovely woman. And it was really awesome. So why don't you talk about that? Like how it was when Joshua came up to you and was like, please, please, can I go home?
Yeah, I don't know what to say because it was like Joshua came, then other kids came, and it's very hard to decide. So I was just trying to think like, who can we help? Because just Joshua, there's another like one like, oh, I need to go home, I need to go home. So we just say we can't take all of you home, you know, because and then when you get home, you need uh, there's some issues home too. You get home, and when you see their
State of living.
state of living,
Yeah.
it just makes you like cry or overwhelmed. Then you have to do something. So, but God has helped us a lot, and we told them step by step we'll take you. Then Joshua was like, please. So he was trying to be like the first one
Yeah.
to say, please
pick
take
me,
me,
pick
pick
me.
me.
And he really insisted.
Then I was looking at the other was like, why you? Yeah. So life in street is hard. It's very hard for these kids, and some they may be like very issue to the to the what security, but all of them, I can't say that all of them they are bad, but some they may use that chance. Big people they may use that chance to go and steal and do those stuff, and they may say it's just street boy, which I don't agree. Some they're good, and some they have their own problem, and some they want to go back to school. So That was good taking Joshua to school, and we wish we could have been taking them all, but we go with the what we can do.
Our capacity
Yeah.
is one each time, pretty much. And if, we are organizing ourselves a little bit more so that we can specify what the actual needs are. And each case is going to be different, but also each case is the same in a way, because if we take the child back to school, they need supplies, they need a uniform, they need school fees, they need admin, they need exam costs, um, all of those things in addition to whatever their family situation is. And if we are going to empower the parent or parents or grandparents, how do we financially do that? And so it's a big undertaking, and it's not just one little tiny thing. And that's why we wanted Winnie here today, because I don't think a lot of people understand. Like, the three of us are completely 100% on the same page of what it takes to take a child back to their home.
I've been there. One day I will tell you my story.
One day Elvis will
One
tell you
day
his
I'll
story.
be open.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be open.
Yeah.
And then if you have any question, one day take time for me to listen at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important to share that Elvis was on the streets. So
Yeah.
he has an inside view of what a street child goes through on a daily basis, what their thoughts are, and the psychological damage and the trauma that is impacted into that child's life. And that's what we create the relationship for. I'm getting goosebumps. Yeah. But Feed a Street Child and 11th Hour Ministries working together. It's not some when we do give them food, but not every single day. It's mostly on our events.
Yeah, every 3 months.
Like every 3 months. And then the coupon. Like, we came up with this coupon. Well, she came up with this coupon, and we use the coupon, and we're marketing the coupon. And I'm gonna say it. Last week, 2 weeks ago, Elvis and I were approached by the security of bungma, because there's an insecurity issue and a threatening issue that is concerning the community, and they believe it's in regards to the street children. Now, street children do hover around businesses, they do beg, they can get aggressive, and they can steal. It's a part of life. But I don't think, and I don't believe that they are the main source of all of those things. I think if they're super hungry every single day, yeah, they're going to steal something to eat because they're hungry. So if we feed them, it doesn't make them satisfied and super strong and healthy to go beat up other people. That's just a meal. But our relationship with them, Elvis's relationship with them, they call him uncle, teacher, baba, brother, pastor. And and they call me by my name. I don't know where they learned that, but I'm super, super honored by that. But when you have that rapport with them, they know they can come to you. Sick kids come to you, sick kids come to us. They ask us for help, and it's we have to help them. We cannot just ignore the issue. We cannot just sweep it away somewhere else. We have to come up with some solid, viable solutions. And I believe we are doing that. It's maybe on kidogo, small scale, according to what other people would like. They would like us to take 30 or 50 of them at a time. That's just not possible. In Imelda's case, it came to, in the end, about $280 US. And for Joshua's case, it was more, because Joshua's case was more severe. So his case was about $320. So it's not cheap to take a kid home and acclimate them back and visit their home 4 or 5 times and make sure we're discipling, make sure we're mentoring, make sure we're following up and checking on them to make sure that they're okay, that they're still in school and that they're performing in school and that their behavior is okay in school. And for us, those two especially
Yeah.
are rock stars because they're doing great. Their teachers are loving them. They say that they're being respectful. They're coming to school. And so, what else can we say about the street children to help people understand their plight?
Yesterday I learned something new.
Mm.
You see, whatever we are doing, I was very proud yesterday because we are working on reducing a child one at a time.
Yeah, yeah.
So when Joshua came to eat his lunch, there were two street boys following him.
Hmm.
And I also want to go to school. Also want to go to school.
Yeah.
Now, do you know that is eradication indirectly
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
now Joshua is now their mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, I'm smart. I have uniform. I have new
Mm-hmm.
shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I go to class. Lunchtime, I
Yeah.
come and eat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now you can get 5 people who are his friends in the street
Mm-hmm.
will willingly want to go home and go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
So we still have a task to do.
Yeah. There are a lot of kids. And she's talking about when Joshua was going back to school, Elvis and I discussed it between the two of us. You know, his home life is harsh and it's difficult to explain unless you see it. But how is this kid going to eat lunch? We went to the school. It's a public school. There's over 1,000 students at this school. There's no lunch program. These kids don't eat at school. They're sent out into the community to eat at little hotels around or whatever. And then um, if they don't have provision, maybe 20 shillings or whatever, then they can have one chapati. What is chapati made out of? Flour, oil, and water, maybe some salt. How nutritious is that? And these kids go to school at 6 in the morning and they end at like 5 at night. So how can you expect children to perform and like survive if they are not eating? So we decided let's work with Winnie because the school is like right around the corner. And we buy his lunch every day that he's in school. And it's not like chicken every day. It's like beans and rice or beans and chapati or
Ugali.
ndengu and chapati or ugali and vegetables and beef or something that's going to give him some protein and some sustenance to keep him going for the rest of the day. So that is one program that we are going to be rolling out this next year for more students. We would talk to a UNICEF guy, a UNICEF representative. He has how many kids?
54.
54 kids in that school that they buy the supplies for. They buy a backpack and supplies, but they want us to do a feeding program for them. And I was like, I can't take 54 kids. Like, they look at me and the color of my skin and they think, oh, she can take like 100 kids, It's just not true. So we would love for people to come on board with us and start to support some of these things that we are doing because we're just doing it out of our own pockets at this point. Even you, like even Winnie, like she's such a generous person. If a kid, comes to her and he only has 40 bob, she'll give him something to eat. That's like $1. Like, so 40 cents, she makes it $1. So it's not that people don't give here. There are people who are willing to come and donate supplies or shoes or something like that if we put it out there. But it's not as often as we need it to be. So how can we help? How can people help us? That's the question.
Okay, so I would really appreciate if you can get help, especially when it comes to education empowerment, because the moment you educate a child, you've saved the whole society, you've solved the whole village. So we would like to get help when it comes to education. When we have a child who wants to go to school, when we have you come together and support us, support the child go back to school, it has saved the whole community. Yeah,
In what way? How does that save a whole community?
When you educate a child, okay, once you educate a child, the child will be able to take care of the generation after him or her. if you're not able, if you educate me and stable and independent, I'm able to take care of my siblings. If I must, the case for let's use Joshua as an example. Joshua has a sister,
Mhm.
has a brother 4 years old,
Mhm.
and two twins.
Mhm.
Those are four people.
Yeah.
It's only Joshua, if he's successful, can help these other people
Mhm.
behind. So education program is very important for us.
I think education is so important as individuals to
Mhm.
be able to have some sort of identity of self-worth. And I would love to start empowering people more in their identity in Christ. So when you have to go to the street as a child,
Mhm.
you still know that God cares about you. You still know that there's still hope, that your situation can change, and you are not defined by your circumstances or your situation, what has happened to you, what is going to happen to you. You are identified as a child of the King, the Most High, the creator of the universe, God Himself. Yeah. And I want them to start knowing that. And I want us to start being able to, in our relationship talks, really start talking to them about that, because a lot of them know about God. A lot of them are educated up to a certain point, and then COVID happened, and life changed for everybody. And we're still in those moments of transition for people who are actually working.
Mhm.
But I will say the economy here is making it difficult for people to have jobs and to have an income to support their families. That doesn't mean that you go drink or you disappear. If you have children, be smart, be responsible, ask for help. If you need help,
Mhm.
ask me, you know, if I can help you. And this is Elvis's point. We can give you what we can give you. We will something. It might not be everything you need.
Mhm.
It might be a boost financially. It might be some rice. It might be a meal for that day. It might be shoes for school or a sweater. It's going to be something. And if I do that and then you do the uniform,
Uh-huh.
and then Billy Bob over here does like the supplies for school, together we have created a way for that child to go back to
Sure.
school. Now, I also want people to realize and understand that we as human beings are not infallible. We make mistakes, and we are trying our best to follow the law.
Mhm.
And kids here in Kenya, there's a new Children's Act that was enacted in July of 2022. Every child in this country, no matter your circumstance, has a right to a family, has a right to education, and has a right to feel safe.
Mhm.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Now, that is the law. That is the Children's Act of 2022. Let's get the government on board. Yeah?
Mhm.
Because sometimes I don't feel they're on board. And if we can help them and guide them, and they'll come alongside us, not to be wasteful spending and bloated spending.
Mhm.
Let's really tangibly help these kids. If you want the street kids off of bungoma, and this is when I get into my come on. If you want the kids of bungoma off the streets,
Mhm.
then make programs where these kids can feel comfortable to come and ask for help. If it's at school, great. If they can go to their teachers and the teachers have access to programs, scholarships for students, education here, government schools are supposed to be free.
Free.
Are they free?
No.
No, they are not. And parents cannot afford to send their kids to school. Kids can go to school, but they need food when they're there. It's important. Even if you bring in the small, okay, I think of it like this.
Mhm.
You have a school. They do not have a lunch program. Kids need food. So get the vendors that are around your school and work with them to give them work. Like, I feel like we're feeding Joshua. We're going to try to get sponsors for this program, but if we feed the kid through you, that helps your business. That puts you into a better bracket and creates more of a job for you.
Yeah.
So if the government can understand that by helping that child, they're also helping you, which then also helps you pay for your child to go to school. That's the circle. That's the round robin. That's the, what do you call it? The merry-go-round that we want to be on. We want to be on a merry-go-round that is supplying the kids, the child's need. Oh, then your need, then your child's need, then maybe your
Yeah,
auntie's need.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It can be that merry-go-round. I don't want to be on this merry-go-round of government spending, going on trips, going here, going there, spending all this money that's unnecessary. That's how I feel. And I get kind of passionate about it. But it's the truth. And it's not just in Kenya, it's all over the world. Like, if you're allotted 2 million shillings for street children, you better use that money for the street children and come up with some programs that can continue and be self-sustaining. If you're allotted 2 trillion shillings, you better make that money work for the people in this country. And I feel the same way in America, you know? So there's so much corruption and it's hard to get through that. And how do we do that? Honestly, how do we stop having to pay the corruption?
You see, corruption, it's the bottom line of everything. It's the beginning of all the problems.
Yeah.
I'll give a very good example why Bungoma, the rising of street children. Look at Mumia's Sugar Company. It had employed about 10,000 people
Yeah.
working for that company. Then through corruption, the company went down and it shut down.
Yeah.
Has the government done anything to raise Mumia's Sugar up again? So you are the father, you are the head of the family, or maybe you're the breadwinner and you are working there. The job died, the company collapsed, everything went east. How will you provide for your family? You have a loan that you are servicing, you have rent, you have maybe 8 children.
Yeah.
You run away.
Yeah,
You
so
run away.
now you first you get yourself into alcoholism.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of stress,
Mhm.
you have a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
When a child comes in the evening, it's like, Dad, we are told we need camus, you slap that child because I don't need to hear anything.
Yeah.
So that will lead the child to just go away from home.
Yes.
Again, it has happened with
And
Webuye Pan Pepper.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
In Malakisi, we had ginnery for cotton. It's the same thing.
something.
So where if I was the employee, I'm supporting my family, I'm supporting my wife's family, I'm supporting my parents at home. Then one morning, I'm told, don't come to work. Maybe I'm 40 years old. Where do I go?
And the government, I agree with you, needs to 100% step back in and redirect that and follow up on corruption. They say they are, but I don't see it. Maybe it's behind the scenes and we're just not seeing it. But like if they came in and they helped pen paper get back on board, and textiles, what is that?
Ginnery.
It's like they make sweaters and stuff. And then now Bata shoes. Bata shoes is Kenya shoes. It's like where everyone gets their shoes and they're going to be closing their doors. Corruption kills. Corruption kills. And it's on every single level in the wide open spaces here in this country. It's not hidden. It's not. And so I do see that there are some people in the government that are really coming along board on that. But this too is a taught thing. And when kids see this, that's what they want to do. And they think, well, if I can make 300,000 in my wage of 15,000 a month is who cares? I can just go out and take it from all these people. You know what I mean? Like, we have to start praying against these things and blocking these people coming in and distracting with all this other garbage that's out there, and get back on track. If they come in and Mumia Sugar's back up and running, Pan Paper's back up and running, Bacha Shoes is back up and running, Ken Knit is back up and running, those people who are working can support their children.
Yes.
The children won't be running to the streets. Now, there's still going to be violence because there's still evil in this world. And so those children need a rescue center, somewhere where they can go and they can be safe, but we can counsel the parents and work on the family unit and bring that back around to be a good thing, you know? But people, how can they help us? How can people here in Bungoma help Feed a Street Child and 11th Hour Ministries? I say give to us. Give us clothing for boys, not so much for the girls because there's not a lot of girls on the street. Boys' clothing, pants, shirts, shoes, socks, underwear, tank tops, sweaters, jackets, hats. We also need toothpaste. We also need toothbrushes. We also need soap. We also need food like maize, beans, rice, cooking oil. Sorry, I'm just the only one talking here, but it's like, come on. That's how Bungoma people can help us. Foreign people abroad in America, Canada, Russia, wherever you are, and you know us and you know about our ministry, you see what we're doing, come alongside of us. You can donate to us through 11th Hour Ministries and get a tax receipt. You can donate directly to me through SendWave. It's an app that you put on your phone, and it comes directly to me. I don't even have to go to the bank. It's amazing. Now, what can we do for you? We can give you receipts. We can give you pictures. We can give you stories of the children. We can give you follow-up with those children. We don't just take them home and then forget about them. We go back and make sure they're okay. And if you're those kind of people that want that kind of stuff to be a part of, that kind of an organization that does these kinds of things, that I mean, we also have elder care too that we work. We've also been to orphanages, and we went to the Blessing Place. We went to Muskoma Children's Home. We fed them, and we blessed them. We blessed their socks off. We gave them shoes and mattresses and mosquito nets and soap and milk and all kinds of food. And so that's what you're helping us do. And we would love for you to keep helping us do that. If you need to contact us, you can contact us. I put the information down below that you can donate to 11th Hour Ministries. If there's some specific thing that you would like to donate to Feed a Street Child, you're abroad, I'll get it. I'll get it to her. I'll make sure that you get a receipt for that. And then Feed a Street Child you're gonna have an M-Pesa number soon.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah, soon, soon and very soon. She is going. So we're still developing and we're still growing and we're still learning how to do these things, and we're still meeting with the government to figure out what the guidelines are for ministries like ours, and we're still trying to connect with some of the children's homes here that accept street children, because they come with detoxing and counseling issues, psychological issues. But we have people. We have social workers who want to work with us.
Yeah.
We have counselors who want to work with us. It's just a matter of finance in a lot of those situations. But if you're in Bungoma or Webuye or Kimilili or Kitale or Kisumu or Nairobi or anywhere around Kenya, and you want to donate something to Feed a Street Child or 11th Hour Ministries, contact us and we will make it happen. And that's all I'm going to say because I talk a lot. So you guys are going to have to take
or
over.
else when Bungomos and go visit the boys and ask them. You can be also help them in another way.
Mhm.
Go yourself, ask them, speak with them, then
Mhm.
they will be open for you, and
Mhm.
you will be able to help them, to see how you can help them too.
There's a lot of people who aren't doing
We
anything.
we need to come
Yeah.
together and
Yeah.
Yeah.
help these
Amen.
kids.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of youth just hanging around because there's not a lot of jobs, right?
Yeah.
What if we can get some core groups going of people, then start connecting them together? That's
Mhm.
such a great idea. And then they can help each other.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Any last words, my friend?
I'm just so excited, and I hope and I believe we are going to achieve the mission, which is zero street children.
Yeah.
Maybe by 2040, 2050, but Bungoma will be among the top to have, if not zero,
Mm-hmm.
countable number that is a
Mhm.
bit manageable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I hope we walk the journey together. You help us, we help you, help each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's been an amazing adventure so far, and I do see that this is the start of something bigger than
Mhm.
maybe what we can handle. But I do see that people are interested in helping us and coming alongside of us, so I'm excited about that as well. So we praise God for this time together. We give all the glory of what we are able to do back to Him, and we thank you so much for all of your support. If you have any more questions or you have any concerns, anything that you want to talk to us about, we're pretty open, and we'll be honest with you, and we'll give you a timely answer. If we don't know immediately what to say or the information that we need, we will get it to you within a few days. So don't be afraid to click that like button or that subscribe button or that bell
Right.
to let you know that we're back on, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye.